Hi, this is Michael Uslan. You're listening to Batman on Film.
The Adventures of Batman.
Welcoming you to the new adventures of Batman.
Welcome to episode 74 of Batmanimation, a Batman on Film podcast, revisiting the animated adventures of the Cape Crusader. I'm senior contributor Javi Trujilo, and joining me today is Netflix subscriber and Scarlett Johansson fan Jett Ramey. Pretty slow news week, right? Yeah, news week, right?
Yeah, well, yes. Yeah. As far as the Netflix Warner Brothers Discovery thing, I will see how that plays out. I really don't. I'm not informed enough to know what would be good or bad, other than I just go by what people tell me, and like when Writers Guild and Directors Guild and others are saying this is not good for movies and studios and entertainment. I gotta listen. We'll see. I mean,
we've got another 12 to 18 months before this gets officially approved by all the regulatory agencies. So
I will say this: there is still zero chance that the Snyderverse returns. I don't even know how. That's like, 2 + 2 = 1,000. I don't know. I don't get the math. I mean, we went from this.
They were given an inch, and they're taking a mile.
It's like, I just stumbled upon this yesterday. But apparently, this has been going around a while. That there was some bullshit about some wealthy Saudis buying Warner Brothers, and for the sole purpose of firing James Gunn and then restoring the Snyderverse. And not only was Snyder going to return, but Christopher Nolan was part of this too. I mean, who makes up this shit? And even worse, what kind of moron believes any of it? Anyway, I'm not going to get on this tangent. Let's talk let's do some Batmanimation.
Yeah. Today we are shining the bat signal on, you guessed it, BAT-FAM. Dropping November 10th, 2025, 90 is the New 80 is the third episode of Season 1. This episode was directed by Alex Senwald with the story written by Mujan Zolfagari. And of course, we got Texan Luke Wilson as Bruce Wayne, Michael Benyar as Ra's al Ghul. James Cromwell James Cromwell doing a magnificent job as Alfred, London Hughes as Alicia, Jonas Kibriab as Damien. I can't say any of these names, but we got a lot of people in this episode. Dietrich Bader as Killer Moth. So lots of people. We get introduced to Natalie Palamides as Sad Hatter. So the plot breaks down as trouble finds little Batman when he ignores his dad's advice and coerces Alfred to become Exobat to help him take down the Mad Hatter. And this episode is jam-packed, opening with the Mad Hatter, aided by his reluctant daughter Stella, aka Sad Hatter, pulling a heist and mesmerizing the guards until Batman interrupts. Their confrontation gets interrupted by a very bright new character who's looking for the same thing, whatever that may be. How did you like the opening, Bill?
Kind of reminded me a little bit of Brave and the Bold in a way. Kind of like those cold openings they used to have. But this was not, it was not an unrelated part of the entire episode. But that's what my mind immediately went to. And I guess I would found Sad Hatter a humorous character.
She's got the whole like goth emo
Yeah,
teen
she
thing going
reminds
on.
me of that like on those progressive commercials, that progressive character,
Yeah,
that one of the
Flo.
character,
Or no,
not Flo,
the
yeah,
other one.
the
I
other
forget her
girl.
name.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, that's what it was just I have to reprogram my mind um when I start watching one of these because it's such a just a it's a different take on Batman.
Well, you're a
What
solo Batman
yeah,
guy,
yeah.
and this
This is
is not.
very yeah,
It's
this
in
is
the
not.
title.
It's I do appreciate I appreciate the Batman history. They've clearly done their homework with Batman history and also with
Yeah.
DCU, DC Comics history. So I do appreciate that, and that's one of the things I do. I find that is a positive when it comes to this episode. But like I said, I got to reprogram my mind. It's and take it and watch it for what it is, and remind myself this isn't this isn't the Batman. And this isn't
Yeah.
or even animated wise, it's not, it's not
It's not Cape
Batman the
Crusader.
animated series, not Cape Crusader. Yeah. Even though
Yeah.
they're on the
This
they're
is
on the same
aimed for a
platform.
different demographic for sure.
Yeah.
It reminds me a lot of the Lego Batman movie, where there's
Yes. Yeah.
definitely you
Yeah.
definitely feel how it's aimed at kids, but there's enough of a storytelling element
Yes.
that as an adult you can appreciate. And like you said, those Easter eggs and nods to continuity, where you really feel like they love all the different iterations of this
Yeah.
character and they
Yeah.
sneak in stuff.
Yeah. You've got, like I said, you got to look at it and watch it for what it and realize and keep in mind what it is and what it's for. It is that has that double component of, yeah, it's kids on the surface, but it's there's stuff for adults to enjoy as well, and for fans, if you're a fan of comic Batman or DC history, that's an aspect I enjoy as well. And I said it before, and we get back on the episode. I said it before. It's this isn't like Bat Wheels, which is like 100% for
Right.
children, like young children. They excluding adults. All together. This doesn't do that. My only thing, and I'll get to this determination at the end because I'm watching these episodes as Batman on Film reviews and discusses each one. I haven't watched.
Oh, so you haven't finished
I
yet?
watch them and then I get to the episode, and I haven't watched the entire season yet.
Okay.
I will determine at the end if this was better left as just Merry Little what was it? Merry Little Batman.
Yeah.
The movie,
Yeah.
the movie, the animated film, which I really liked. And determine whether a season of this version of Batman is worth it. Right now, it's undetermined. But I lean to enjoying it. So
Okay.
there you go. That makes sense. Does that make any sense whatsoever?
It does. You and I just recently recorded the final episode for Batman Begins chapter by chapter,
Mm-hmm.
which obviously talks of escalation.
Yeah.
We get body armor, they get
Yeah.
armor piercing
Yeah.
rounds,
Yeah.
you put on a mask. And that's kind of what
Yeah.
we're seeing here in this episode because
Yeah.
Batman's gotten rid of crime, but now he's back and he's back with little Batman. And so here we see Mad Hatter responding to that and
Mm-hmm.
bringing his daughter into the fray,
Yeah.
who from the start, she's very reluctant. Like she
Yeah.
was having like school issues and now I can't even remember what it was, if it was poetry or pottery, but Mad
She
Hatter.
majored in pottery. He
Yeah.
said poetry, and it was
Okay.
when this inside the kids wouldn't get that you can't do anything with a poetry degree, and you're back living at home again, so you're gonna do whatever you have to do, here because you're back on my I'm paying for you again, so
So he forces her to go do this crime.
Yeah.
Because she's back at home because, college wasn't working out for her or whatever.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even know, what it is. Poetry, pottery, potato.
Yeah.
He's worried about looking bad in front of the other unreformed villains. And so that's when Batman shows up in this character that Vicky later calls Bright, and they have a brief confrontation before everyone goes their own ways. So we cut to Wayne Manor, and the Joker's on the loose inside
Okay,
the manor.
let me ask you this. This Bright, this is the first time this character has appeared, right? I don't recall.
In this show, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
As far as I know, there's no comic book equivalent.
Okay.
But yeah, you'll find out. Obviously, you'll find out more in a couple episodes.
Well, I was about to say there's probably going to be more of this Bright than just this one off, right? So
yes,
no, okay, all right,
yeah,
all right.
That's all I'll say. And what they're after will become clear in a few as well.
Okay. Ryan Haas did tell me he's watched. I think he's watched this series a couple times through now.
Oh, really? Okay.
That there is a continuing storyline.
Yeah,
as it progresses.
Yeah, there's a bit of serialization here, just like any comic book would have. You know, this isn't part 1, part 2, part 3, but it's building up towards a big story at the end.
Yeah.
But the Joker's loose, and I'm like, wait, because I haven't seen Merry Little Batman since last Christmas.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wasn't he running around the manor in that movie? And I'm like, and here he is again, causing trouble, and little Batman is chasing after him. But then we find out all of a sudden that it's just a game, and it's Pap Al Ghul who has changed his form, his ghostly form, to look like the Joker, and he catches little Batman and Robin, who is Alfred, poor Alfred, and they have to call off their game because they get caught, and it's time to make lunch. And the best part is, like, Roz is just upset that he didn't get to kill Robin. He's like, next time I get to kill Robin.
Yeah.
And it's just one of my favorite things about this show is this animosity that goes between Alfred and Ra's al Ghul. And, we get more instances as we go on, but it's a funny little, back and forth that they have. And what did you think of this?
It's one of the two funniest things that I like about this is Ghost Roz and Dr. Langstrom, who's in Man-Bat form.
Yeah.
And is this character who's there so far. It just to deliver a couple funny lines each episode.
Yeah, there's no explanation for why he's there at the manor. He just lives there now.
That's part of what's funny about it is that there is no explanation. He's just there, living at Wayne Manor in a robe.
Yeah.
I think it's hilarious.
And he just brings like that awkward comedic timing too, because
let me say that when I say it's funny and I've said I laugh, and this show does not make fun of Batman at all.
Yeah,
at all. So yes, it can be funny, but it's not making fun of Batman. So don't get that impression.
I mean, maybe poking fun at it in the way that, like I said, the Lego Batman movie does.
Yeah, tongue-in-cheek type stuff.
Yeah, like we'll get stuff with Damian in a little bit where, he just goes off on being vengeance like a couple times, and how he puts Bat in front of everything.
Yeah,
and which Volcana calls him out on. So it's fun though. Like you said, it's not making fun of, but it is having fun with it. And Alfred is down there making these elaborate lunches for everybody because he's got like 6 people to cook for him. He got everything from like grilled cheese to like this kind of crab cake to London broil for Bruce and like quail eggs l'orange for Roz. And Alicia starts to take issue with it because she feels like Alfred's working so hard and she feels like everyone's taking advantage of him. And she figures that he must want to do something for himself. And Alfred expresses he just wants a family picnic. Like that would make him happy.
Yeah.
But, that gets ignored as like Bruce and Alicia argue over who knows him better and how they can give him a fun day. And it leads to one of those great man bat things where like Damien and Volcana piece out of the conversation. And, takes off and his quail legs can't go through the walls with him. So he's like, no
Yeah.
fair. And Man Bat's just sitting there. He's like, if anyone needs me, I'm just going to be sitting here watching this. And it's
Yeah.
it's funny. Uh, so we cut over to Damien and they're watching TV and a news broadcast by Vicky hints that crime is returning to Gotham. So we're seeing again that escalation that Batman Begins mentioned. And meanwhile, Bruce is trying to pick which clothes he wants to wear, which it's the
It's the
same
same
closet
thing.
of
Yeah.
every shirt, and he's trying to get Selena to help him pick out which shirts is like more fun. And it's all the same shirt. And Damien's like, wants to go out as little Batman. And Bruce pulls out this list of like note cards of 204 rules of when Damien can't go out. And at
Yeah.
the very bottom, there's one rule when he can. It's like when I say you can. And, Bruce takes off and Damien looks for a loophole with Selena's guidance. And remember, this is a Selena that's a cat. This isn't
The cat.
Catwoman.
Yeah.
It's a cat. So he goes to the Bat Cave because this is a bat emergency and he's vengeance. And Claire, aka Volcano, wants nothing to do with it. So he leaves to go interrogate some other villains. Uh, how did you like this whole like exchange?
Eh, It's well written. It's clever. It's funny. The bat this and the bat that and vengeance. Um, my first thought is it's a nod to the
Pattinson.
Batman. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I like all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I was down with it.
Yeah, and Claire, like I said, she's kind of being a teenager kind of ish herself, and she's trying to do
Yeah.
the broody aloof thing. Like Damien is fully leaned into the 60s aspect of this is a bat emergency and I need,
Yeah.
bat this and bat that. And we're gonna go on bat patrol and she wants nothing to do with it. And even as Bruce is trying to figure out what to wear and you hear Alicia in the background off camera, like asking where the shark repellent is because there's something about like sharks that she wants to do with Alfred.
Yeah.
And Bruce is like, no, 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 and like freaks out and runs off to go save him. And it's little things like that where, like we said already, you feel like there's love for all these different interpretations of the
Yeah. That's
character
bat.
that,
That's bat shark repellent.
yeah,
You
like,
can nod from the 66 from the movie.
yeah. I mean, it's the only thing it could be would
Yeah.
be an homage to that. So meanwhile, Damien goes off on his own as Batman. Meanwhile, we have Bruce and Alicia still arguing over what to do, and we go on this montage with Alfred looking suitably uncomfortable with every activity. Um, and like he's in the backseat of the car as they argue, and then we get like Bruce taking him and doing safe activities,
Yes.
like
Yeah.
swimming with the old people, and then Alicia's got him. We cut to like Alicia doing something like dangerous, and Alfred looks like he's a second away from a heart attack, and
Yeah. Going to a heavy metal concert and all these extreme sport type things and it's back and forth. It's a little those little cut back and forth scenes that are you know it's funny.
yeah, they do a good job of making it entertaining and creating
And
juxtaposition.
yeah, and Alfred doesn't say anything, which is important at the end because like these episodes all have these little, it's not like they're like teaching lessons, but there's always like this
A little bit of a
words of wisdom.
morality play
Yeah,
to it,
words of wisdom at the end.
Yeah. And while they're doing that, little Batman goes after King Tut and Killer Moth They're just like grocery shopping, and he like
Yeah.
ties them up by their feet, knocks them down, and interrogates them. And they reiterate again, like, we're not villains, but he wants, insight into the criminal mind. And he gets what he's looking for, and he takes off, and they're just laying there, like he's not going to untie us, is he? And they're like,
Yeah.
nope. Uh, how do you like this pairing of Killer Moth and King Tut as reformed villains?
It's just because it makes absolutely no sense. And it's a bit that's funny because they're reformed and there's always some kind of, some shenanigans that they're caught up in unwittingly, right?
Yeah.
And they're just like thrust into this Batman nonsense that's going on. And I don't know if it continues, don't tell me, but I find it humorous. I'll say that.
And, Diedrich Bader, who, was the hero, then became the
Yeah.
villain, is now a villain again, but now I wouldn't say he's heroic, but at least he's
He's
trying
reformed
to
villain.
to re
Yeah.
reform. And he does a good job. He doesn't
Yeah.
sound like Brave and the Bold Batman. He doesn't sound like Harvey Dent from Cape Crusader. So he
No.
does a good job. I mean, that's he's an actor and he's a voice
Yeah.
actor, and you probably would have to know by looking at the credits to know it was him, because he
Yeah.
does alter his performance enough to give it something different where it
Sure.
doesn't
Yeah.
sound like a carbon copy. Um, and meanwhile, we've got Bruce and Alicia still arguing in the car, and then they realize when Alfred's not answering that he's not there and that they left him at this dive bar. And you cut to Alfred. He just looks so tired and dejected, sitting in a booth, and there's a cockroach next to him, and these bikers come in looking all menacing, and like, this isn't the right night for bingo, old man. And then we see them like bringing Alfred home.
Yeah. Gutter
And
slug.
yeah, he's like promising them some like
A
quiche
recipe.
recipe or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
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 And they go off about their way, because how can you not love Alfred? And Damien has figured out where the Hatters are going to strike next, and he interrupts this board game between Claire and Roz, who again just
It's
complains.
another it's just playing it. Yeah, Claire and this ghost Dracula Ross is playing a game. It's just
Yeah,
what goes on here. I mean, with Ghost Roz, and you got Claire, who is Albert's niece, and then you got or Alicia, and then Claire that is with the little flame, who's
yeah.
flame, follows her around. It didn't do anything this time, but it's all these weird
Well, beat
components of
Roz at cards.
yeah, yeah, correct. It's just that you would go, how do they come up with this? But then it's like makes no sense, but it works and it's funny.
Yeah. So they have their little back and forth, and again, Claire's like, I'm not going to help you with this, and Damien, is like, well, I can't go to Pap Pap because it's just going to lead to bloodshed.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
he goes to Alfred and just cajoles him, and Alfred's like, I'm too tired for
yeah.
this. But he's like, oh, if we put on the Exobat, then that does all the work for you. So he gets Alfred to suit up, and they fly off to a Wayne Enterprises building.
All you see
Uh,
is his eyes in the mouth area of the exosuit, the bad
yeah,
exosuit. And now I like me a good bad exosuit. I got this. I got a thing for them. I like the one from Kingdom Come or Dark Knight Returns, whatever. There was one in Batman Beyond. So I was glad to see one show up in this series.
and it's fitting that Alfred gets to use it so he can do something. Although
Yeah,
how they fit like his hunchback in there is,
yeah,
it's cartoon. So
yeah,
it kind of reminds me of the one from the Court of Owls a little bit. Like maybe there's a slight, it's been a while since I read it, but that was the first thing that popped in my brain, was the specific one from like the Court of Owls,
yeah.
but I could be off.
Doesn't Alfred
I mean,
remind you of Alan Napier? This Alfred?
yes, yeah,
Yeah,
for sure. And they go, and Mad Hatter uh, eventually ties them up. But it's not long before Batman shows up with his beard to save the day and save them. But then he gets interrupted by Bright. And you still, at this point, you don't know if this character is hero or villain, but whatever they are, it distracted Batman, and Hatter takes advantage of the situation and mesmerizes Batman. Um, and he tells him to go attack everyone and to kill his friends.
Yeah.
How how do you feel about the threat level for this scene? Does it
Like the
have any
threat from
sense of
Batman?
does it feel like there's any sense of danger, or just because everything's for a laugh, like you don't take it
No.
seriously?
I, it's I didn't yeah, I didn't take it as, is Batman really going to take out Damian and Alfred? I'm really worried about that happening. But also it's not funny, where in this case it would be funny in a not in a bad way, because it would be like eye rolling type of funny, or silly. It doesn't come off silly. It's just, it's that little part of the narrative that, we're gonna wait and see how and when Batman uh breaks out of the trance from Mad Hatter.
And it's kind of like the 60s show in that regard, because every time they end an episode with a cliffhanger, you know that nothing's going to happen to Batman and Robin, you know?
Yeah, you want to see how they get out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in this case, getting out of it is Alfred, with the power of saying no, uh, is what causes them to
Yeah.
save the day. And we kind of glossed over it. Like there's a little bit of Bruce over the course of the episode, making the realization that he has a hard time saying, I love you, and expressing his gratitude
Yeah.
towards Alfred, who waits on him literally hand and foot during
Literally.
the
Yeah.
lunch scene,
Yeah.
and Alfred, getting the gumption to be like, I'm going to say no to you, this person I
Yeah.
love, because, taking care of himself. And while he gives you that initial no, and it starts to break through, Hatter increases his beam and the hold on Batman, but it isn't enough when Alfred reiterates and stands up for himself, and it kind
Hmm.
of breaks the spell for Batman. Um, and not only that though, but by standing up to someone who he loves, it causes Sad Hatter to make the same realization and stand up to her father, and she, runs away
Yeah. I
and
want to be a graphic designer.
yeah, and denounces them. So, like, it's both heartfelt and funny at the same time.
Yeah. And that's one of the lessons, is that you can tell people no, you know. Um, on the other hand, don't take advantage of people that you care about. And then there's also with Damien, it's, be more patient. I can be more patient.
Yeah,
So that's the messages here in this episode.
yeah. There's a lot of little things woven together, and for a tight 22-minute episode, they get a lot across, a lot of humor, a lot of heart, a lot of action. And it reaches for me like a very satisfying conclusion. We still don't know what Bright and the Mad
Yeah.
Hatter are after, and Bright once again just kind of disappears. But the key thing is, Alfred stood up for himself, and at the end of the episode, he gets what he wants, and they have like a picnic for breakfast,
Hmm.
and everyone's there in their pajamas, and Alfred gets this great dig at, this is what I wanted, a picnic with everyone I love in Roz.
Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah.
it's a really fun way to tie up the episode.
Yeah. It was a good one. I thought it was cute. And that's where I come to with this, is it's a cute little show that's a it shows how different Batman can be and still be Batman.
Yeah.
Because this is still Batman, and may not be for everybody. I get that, but it's yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm 3 episodes in. Like I said, I'm watching as we go through these, and yeah, it's keeping my attention
How do you
and
like
interest.
how do you like Luke Wilson at this point as Batman as Bruce?
I'm kind of lukewarm on his Batman Bruce. See what I
You're
did there?
Luke, I was gonna say you're
Yeah.
lukewarm on Luke. Gotcha.
I I neither I neither like or dislike. I will say for this iteration, I think his bat voice makes sense. Yes?
Yeah,
No? Okay.
I'd say so.
I don't, I don't see, and then he's not doing like, you mentioned Dieter Bader, Dietrich Bader. He's not doing he's not doing there's really no difference between his Batman voice and Bruce Wayne voice. And I was also,
I think
and
he
I could
tried a little bit when
a
he confronted
little,
Hatter,
yeah.
but
But there,
it's not a
it's
night
not
and
that,
day thing.
yeah, it's not a growl or anything that, or a whisper, a rough whisper that we were used to hearing. It's just almost a regular voice with a different cadence to it. Uh, and I can hear his Texas accent.
Yeah.
I can hear
I
it.
mean,
So
he is
yeah,
from your neck of the woods, I
yeah,
think,
yeah,
right? Um, I I like him, and it's funny because the last DC project that he was in Stargirl, where he was playing Stargirl's stepdad. So here he's in the stepdad mentor role again, but he's a little more prominent. He has a little bit more agency, and like I was talking about, like I really liked seeing him uh, come to grips with how he feels about Alfred and how he has a hard time just expressing himself
yeah.
emotionally, and we get to see some of that
And
put through. So it's
That's a Batman Bruce Wayne thing that we've seen in different stories.
yeah.
Hell, even in the Batman movie. You know,
So
with
as much as
Pattinson.
there's yeah, as much as we have like all these jokes and stuff, there's still character work like being done and realizations that make it worth watching as for me as an adult. And I think because I've seen the whole show now, but at this point, at the end of this episode, this is when I got hooked on season
Yeah,
one. Was after this one where I'm like, okay, I'm liking this, and I wanted to get to the next one. So
yeah. I'm at the. I want to see how it progresses. I want to see the connective tissue between this episodes and see where it all ends up. So, I'm definitely like if I was watching it and I wasn't doing a podcast on each episode, I would say I would still watch it to see it through. I'd probably binge it and watch it all, in two sittings or something. But I'm having fun time watching it almost like once a week and then talking
old
about it.
school, yeah.
Yeah, it is old school. Yeah.
So that is 90 is the new 80. Anything coming up? Anything you want to plug? Where
Only thing
can
I'm going to
people find
mention
you?
is yeah, the Batman in part two is ramping up. We
Yeah, it
just
is.
got so we got we had a little bit over the last couple of weeks production designer info and cinematographer and location where they're going to film, and then that wasn't individually not enough to really have a podcast over,
Yeah.
but the latest, and yet there's gonna be a social hour. We're going to discuss it. Scarlett Johansson is rumored, and I think it must there
Well,
hasn't
not
been
rumored.
any.
It's reported.
Yeah, it hasn't been any pushback or no hold your horses from any of the trades. It's just been yes, she's up for a role, and
She's in
it's not.
negotiations, so
Yeah, yeah,
it's not a done
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
But
So we're getting to the casting point, or and the casting part, which is fun, and then we of course all speculate who it will be, of course, and that will not just be it's a good get. She comes on board. She's an
yeah,
A-lister. She's an
yeah.
A-lister for sure.
Director,
Yeah,
actress. I mean, the Jurassic World movie, I didn't think it was that great
yeah.
as far as Jurassic World movies go, but it did phenomenally well across the
Hmm.
world, and she was the headliner of that. So,
Yes,
I mean,
yeah.
that's good for her and good
It's a
for
good
her
yeah. It's
clout
good
in
for
Hollywood.
yeah,
So,
yeah, for sure.
I think she's a draw, and I think she's a good get. I think
She's a
good
draw.
actress.
Absolutely. So so stay tuned to Batman on Film, because it's fixing to ramp up here.
Yeah, I think
Big time.
there's a fun couple of weeks of speculation on what that could be. I mean, as we record this, it's December 6th, 2025. So while they're about to ramp up, we're also about to hit the holidays. So we're probably not
it'll
going to
be.
get any news, over the next couple of weeks.
I was surprised. I
People
was
go on
surprised that
break.
we heard that one. I figured it would be right after the new year. We'd start hearing things, but with this little trickle out, I wouldn't be surprised if we get maybe one or two more bits of information, and then before we shut down altogether for a couple of weeks. But just stay tuned. Batman on Film. We're going to be cut. This is a fun time.
Yeah, let's ride.
Yep.
Zelda the Great. I'm calling it now. That's who Reeves cast her as.
Well, we shall see. We shall see. That's the fun part.
Yeah. As for myself, I've got reviews for Batman and Robin Year One. Batman's Second Night is coming out in a couple of weeks also. So just head over to batman-on-film.com and you can read all those. And also, great reviews too by Trey and Lauer and Pete, who's having a lot of fun with Detective right now. So, and then of course, chapter by chapter, we've got the last two chapters for Batman Begins that should be out by the end of the year. They're in the canon done. So
yeah, one's coming this weekend
over the holiday season.
One's coming this weekend, and another one will probably next week. I got a social hour coming. Yeah, this little series will continue on Batmanimation until we get finished with all of BAT-FAM Season 1. So yeah, there's lots of different types of Batman stuff as well, not just Batman on Film, right?
Yeah. Yep, it's going to be a very exciting 2026. So that's going to do it for this episode of Batmanimation. We will have announcer Rachel take us out.
Rachel!
Thanks for listening to Batmanimation, a BatmanOnFilm.com podcast revisiting the animated TV and film adventures of the Caped Crusader. Follow Batmanimation on Twitter @Batmanimation. Follow BOF on Twitter @TheBatmanOnFilm. Follow Jett on Twitter @BatmanOnFilm. For Jett and Team BOF, I'm announcer Rachel. Batman on Film, authoritative, definitive, the original, established in 1998.